السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد أشرف المرسلين عليه الصلاة والسلام على آله وصحبه وسلم أجمعين. So when out of extreme delight Abdul Muttalib burst out chanting Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, he then happily remarked, Hada tawi Ismail. Translates as, this is evidently the well of Ismail alayhi salam. Abdul Muttalib thereafter constructed a few ponds close to the well of Zamzam. He would fill these with Zamzam water and readily provide it to the pilgrims. However, during the hours of darkness, some distressingly jealous people would maliciously cause damage to these ponds. Abdul Muttalib would then repair the damage early the next morning. Upset with such recurrent nasty acts, Abdul Muttalib implored Allah Ta'ala in dua. He was divinely instructed in a dream to recite the following dua. Allahumma inni la ahlaha limughtasila walakin hiya lisharab hal. Translated as, O Allah, I do not render the water of Zamzam halal for bathing, but it is permitted only for drinking purposes. The very next morning, Abdul Muttalib publicly announced this verdict. Thereafter, whoever attempted to damage any of the ponds would indeed fall prey to some ailment or the other. When such woeful incidents of misfortune multiplied, the jealous people stopped damaging the ponds. Abdul Muttalib's vow. Whilst in the process of excavating through the earth to get to the well of Zamzam, besides his only son Haris, Abdul Muttalib had no other assistant to lend a hand. This is why he took an oath to the effect that if Allah Ta'ala blesses him with 10 sons who would grow up to be his helping hands, he would slaughter one of them in the name of Allah. When Allah Ta'ala subhanahu wa ta'ala fulfilled this cherished aspiration by granting him 10 sons, he was fast asleep one night in front of the Kaaba when he saw a vision of a person instructing him, Ya Abdul Muttalib, Ufi binadrika li Rabbi hadha al-bayt. O Abdul, translates as, O Abdul Muttalib, fulfill your vow that you had pledged for the Lord of this sacred house. On awakening from this dream, Abdul Muttalib summoned all his sons and revealed his vow and subsequent dream to them with one voice. They all submitted. Ufi binadrika wa af'al ma shi't. Translates as, fulfill your vow and do as you please. Abdul Muttalib drew lots for all his sons, and Abdullah, his most beloved son, name came up in the draw. He grasped Abdullah's hand and proceeded with a knife to the sacrificial quarters. When Abdullah's sisters witnessed this distressing sight, they were moved to weep in anguish. One of them pleaded with the father to draw another lot with 10 camels against Abdullah's name. If the lot is drawn in favor of the 10 camels, slaughter the camels, but we implore you to leave Abdullah alone. At that time, 10 camels was the blood money paid to a murdered victim's family. When he drew lots second time, Abdullah's name came up again. Abdul Muttalib added on 10 camels and drew lots again. Once more, Abdullah's name came up. Abdul Muttalib continued adding 10 camels each time he drew lots, but on every occasion, Abdullah's name came up. When he eventually reached 100 camels, he was spared when finally the camel's name came up. At that instant, Abdul Muttalib and the bystanders cried out in delight, Allahu Akbar. Abdullah's sisters carried him away from there, and Abdul Muttalib slaughtered his 100 camels between Mounts Safa and Marwa. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu says that initially